Hello, this is Dale Matthews. It's Monday night, and on Monday nights, I'm joined by Mike Jones. Hello, Mike.
Yes. Once again, hey Dale, how you doing this evening?
I'm doing okay. So, as you can see behind me, here is my version of a Time magazine cover about the upcoming election. And oh, what?
Uh, I just thought maybe you were doing some light reading there. I was thinking, you might want to check out the inverse of that as well.
Right, right. Well, we're going to find out. And over here we have our new, the newest videos. They're up on our website. But here's something that we're going to announce here for the very first time. So alert the media.
Uh-oh.
We
Uh-oh.
are the
Uh-oh.
media, and that is election night coverage with
Dun, dun, dun,
Mike. Well,
dun.
of course we're going to do this. You know that we're going to do this. I mean, this is an election and politics site. So yes, we're going
It's going to be election and sports.
we're going to do live coverage on next Tuesday, not tomorrow. Next Tuesday is when the election is, and so instead of being on at 7 o'clock, we'll be on at 8 o'clock live. And Mike is going to be at election headquarters, and we'll have the Bad County helicopter flying above.
Yes, right.
Right,
Yes.
and so I'll be across the street at the courthouse, and right there when Art Harvey, the county clerk, comes out, I'll take the microphone and put it right up against his nose, and you'll get a chance to hear live what those results are.
Yes. Now, because we were there for the last one there in November, and I don't recall, did he just hand out the results to people or did he read them the last time?
Oh, he always reads them.
Oh, he does?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I thought he just handed them out to us. So,
Yep,
okay.
every year he comes out like Puxatawny Phil, and he sees his shadow and gets afraid and runs back in. But depending on how the votes turn out, so we will be there to tell you exactly what's happening.
Because you would not know otherwise. Let me tell you what.
Oh, you're going to find out within a few minutes.
Very, very confusing.
If you're a listener to KJO Radio, don't do that. Okay, so you'll be able to hear it here with us, and then we'll be there with all the cool kids, and then we'll either have a big celebration or we'll break out the black balloons. We're going to find out.
Yes.
But the black balloons will be filled full of helium. So we'll have a squeaky good time.
Laughing gas.
Oh, well, we could do that too, except laughing gas doesn't float, does it?
It doesn't have to, though. See? Yeah, because, that'll lighten the mood a little bit in case...
lighten the mood. Yes, that's what it will do. Okay.
In case things don't go our way there.
We're going to be there with this scintillating style of conversation, and we'll look like chipmunks. We'll both be wearing the headphones, and we'll be reporting live from the scene. So thanks for tuning in tonight, everybody. Good night.
Yes, there you go. Yes,
we got to save up our nuts for the. Well, anyway, okay. So
yes,
I thought that what we do is Mike discovered a brand new video. Now you probably all already know the news about how they've been faking their support and all the rest of this. And if you don't know, go watch last night's video. Okay. So
yes.
Anyway, what we're happy to do is share with you 3 videos from the pro-Levy side. What? Yes, we will let them play all the way through. We're not going to make any comments, Mike. No comments.
We're not.
Not when they play the first time. And then We'll
Oh,
play them back the second time and tear
oh,
them to
really?
shreds. Yes.
Really? We're going to play them back again?
Yes, we'll play them the
Why?
second time, but then we're going
Why don't we just play them and laugh at them the first time through, and then we don't have to waste the entire
we'll
for
be
crying out loud?
laughing silently, but we give them
Yes.
their chance to tell their story. Just everybody get out your handkerchiefs, because this is
Yeah.
some pretty compelling music. And when you hear this, you'll say, well, I don't think you'll say what the heck, but you might say, oh, it just makes me feel like changing my vote because of the
Yes.
music. Okay, so get your children into the room, because this is all about the children, as you know. It's not about being able to feed your children or grandchildren. It's about feeding somebody else's grandchildren, especially those who've committed Measure 11 a law. They've killed somebody, and you'll find out. So
Oh,
go
we'll see.
ahead, and Sheriff, please
Okay.
tell us all about why it's essential that we all remember that our founding fathers were Satan worshipers. Go right ahead, Mike.
Oh, I don't think he says that, but here we go.
No, I don't think crime is down in Josephine County. Those crimes that are reported don't really count. The crimes that are counted are only those where an arrest is made. So if it goes to figure, if you only have, after 2011, 5 deputies on the road, you're only going to make X amount of arrests. So you're going to have a statistic right there that's just ballooned in the opposite way, to where crime is going down. Yesterday, I go to a burglary in progress where a 16-year-old girl was at home alone. Within a matter of minutes after making that situation safe, I have to scramble up to another part of the county, the north end, to where there's a stolen vehicle. Over the weekend, we have a situation where there's, in essence, a shootout in O'Brien. And the night before, we have a motor vehicle crash wherein there was a DUI alleged, and a man was killed. So, you can take these statistics and talk about what the statistics mean to the public. I'm talking about what life and death means, because in 2 of those situations, people lost their lives. This is in a matter of 3 days. I ask people, do they feel safer today than they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago? Not to a person have I heard a yes, that I feel safer today. That tells me that we're on a slippery slope.
All
Pretty
right,
scary
now,
stuff.
yeah, it is. Yeah, that's good. Now, listen, as our audience, we fairly play their entire video. Now, since it's our show, we get a fun of taking it apart, but we do let them have their entire say. Half of our videos, over 1,000 videos in just 2 years of county commissioners and every other miscreant and lawbreaker, and we let them have their say. And then the other half of the videos are us taking them apart. So it's okay. And if you are a levy supporter, or you're a sheriff supporter, no right or wrong, or if you are a commissioner supporter, you can turn the show off now. You have seen the only video you'll ever need to see, because we're all in dire straits, and only the levy pushers have the solution. So good night to you. So now what we're going to do is we're going to play it again, and then Mike's going to stop it in all kinds of places, and we're going to talk about what it is that's being said here. I just like to get one word in. When Cheryl Walker the other day, she was driving by the Juvenile Justice Center, and she said she looked over there, And it made her choke up. Choking, it's a good start, Cheryl. It made her choke up because she was thinking about the children. Whenever politicians tell you they're thinking about the children, and they start to almost blubber.
Yes. And it's basically has the same sincerity as when they tell you that they're all about transparency.
Or when they take the oath of office. I will obey all laws when she's not obeying the law. Okay, I think it was the same day that she violated the law and promoting the levy when you're not supposed to be doing that. And she knows that, and she did it last year, and there's no repercussions. So why should she worry? The election's a whole year off, and she doesn't need to think about such things. I mean, just the fact that, don't get me started, Mike. You always are getting me started.
Oh, okay, yes.
So stop it. So the person directly responsible for this, she could see in her own rearview mirror, because the reason that many of us, not all of us, but the reason many of us are not voting is because we don't have any trust in the system, and it's personified. That maybe the number one person that represents this is Cheryl Walker. Because when she lies, when she cheats, we caught her lying. Don't say, well, what lies are you talking about? Give me a break. Okay, so since we've proven it with videotape, this is the reason that we're not going to give these characters more money. Now, if we get a bunch of new people in there and we get rid of this stupid ISF thing that's skimming 10% off the top, we didn't used to, other counties don't do it, it is not required by state law. It's required. No, it's not. Stop lying to us. Okay? And when we can do that, then maybe we'll consider giving money to honest people. I will not give a dime to dishonest people. You deceive me, and I'm not going to be fooled again. Okay? So watch this video with us. Then we're going to stop it at various points, and keep in mind, maybe he's right that there are a number of things that need to be done in a 3-day period. Well, I don't know. There's a lot more than 3 days in a year, but maybe he's right about some of that. But we will not give these people money because they are liars and cheaters. That's it. Go ahead. Start playing the video there, Mike. What's up with the music? Barbed wire everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, things are out of focus. Oh, there's a hole in a wall. Bees.
The children are depressed.
Yeah, stop. Oh, I love that one. Here you're out on the street, right? Obviously, on the street in Grants Pass, people are so dejected that even the children are hiding their heads. They just, he's going to try. Look, this is something, this is something you see all the time in downtown Grants Pass.
Yes.
People are so despondent, and it looks like a child. It could be an older guy with that funny hat, but they're so despondent. Haven't you seen this everywhere when you drive? All the children are lined up there. Yeah. They're not at school. Right. They're there crying their eyes out because they don't have, what is it that they don't have? They don't have higher property taxes.
Right. Or something like that. Yes.
Why are you
if you pass the levy, this guy's going to be happy again. That's the message there.
Now, does this look like it's the county to you, or does it look like he's right in downtown Grants Pass?
Yeah, it looks like downtown Grants Pass.
Well, what kind of police coverage do they have in downtown Grants Pass?
Oh, pretty darn good, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, the other thing is, Cheryl Walker is head of economic development. I just love leaving this picture up. This is the perfect symbol for the pro-levy pushers, okay?
Yes.
So levy pushers have destroyed my life. Not drug pushers, levy pushers. Okay, so she's in charge of economic development, but she even told the miners that the mining that they're doing is bringing no money. For 100 years, I don't think that we've had a single dime come into the county bank account from miners. It doesn't matter that you're making a fortune or could from a gold mine because you're not giving it directly to but she did say, even though they're not giving it directly to the commissioners, that they could make a gift to the commissioners and to county government. Oh, yes, I'm inspired to give you a gift, Cheryl Walker.
Yes. I'm trying to determine exactly where this is, and unless I miss my guess here, this is right behind the old DMV before they moved it. That's the backside of that building. That's what it looks like to
Well,
me.
look at this car behind him. I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a Mercedes, but
No, it isn't.
somebody's driving by and could look
Right.
out their window and see this poor despondent kid and give him a hand, or maybe say, hey, if you're interested in working, but you can't work when there's no economic development going on in the county. Why is there crime? Because people aren't making any dang money.
Well, here, hang on a second. In terms of for young children,
Yes.
You can get a job because my son used to regularly challenge his friends. They go, I can't get a job. I've tried all over and I can't get a job. And they said, where do you want me to? My son would say, where do you want me to get a job? And they'd say such and such, and he'd go, I'll go get a job there tomorrow. And he would go get a job there tomorrow just to tweak his friends a little bit. And
that made his friends tweakers, right?
Right, exactly. So what happens is, a lot of people, when you have a downturn in the economy, two things happen. One, you have an actual downturn in the economy, but then you have people using it as an excuse to not make their lives better if they don't want to, if they're lazy people. And that's what that whole thing with my son and his friends was about. Because my son would sometimes have two jobs at a time. Everybody loved having him working there because he had work ethic and he, did the job. That's all really 90% of having a job, people, just so you know, showing up. That's 90% of it.
Well, Coach used to always tell us that, and I never understood what he meant until I came here and I found out people are not even showing up. Yes. We have a weekly business session on Wednesday night. Oh, I got to work. Yeah, at 5:30 at night, really? And you could come and say, this is how I feel. And by the way, if you come on Wednesday night, you can speak about the levy because it's past 5 o'clock and some goofballs up in Salem made a rule that says, it's not against the law to talk about it after 5 o'clock when the clerk's office closes. So you can come and say what you think about the levy.
That's kind of funny.
And you're not going to fall into the same category as that famous liar and cheater, Cheryl Walker. But,
we better start playing.
Okay, but one more question about this picture. I love this picture.
Yes.
Boy, they must have spent all day and night driving around Grants Pass trying to find a good visual indicator of someone that's down on their luck and some kid or whatever that's. Imagine how much work it took. Or did they stage this photo?
Of course they did. Come on. That's a silly question. They said, okay, Billy, go over there and sit on the thing there and look depressed.
So does anybody feel manipulated by the fact that this is a staged photo?
Yes, right. And had they, had this been such a regular occurrence, they would have been able to find this occurring naturally. And yes. And anyway, here we go.
No, I don't think crime is down in Josephine County.
No, of course not.
Those crimes that are reported don't really count.
What?
The crimes that are counted are only those where an arrest is made.
Okay.
That's not true. According to the former sheriff, that's absolutely, completely false.
Well, if they're reported, then it's a reported crime, right? So what he's trying to tell us here is that the reason why the numbers are down is because less people are getting arrested. I don't know if less people are getting arrested, but I'm going to assume for the sake of argument that less people are getting arrested.
The other crimes don't count? They don't count?
Yes. I mean, what he's trying to say is just because somebody reported the crime doesn't mean that
what? That it's not going to end up on a report?
As I understood it, the UCR is reported crimes,
Right.
So
how do you end up with a reported crime that's not reported? Now, even the reported crimes don't count. This is
Well,
taking an extra step.
yeah, what he's trying to say is that there is no the numbers on reported crimes are only where somebody gets arrested and put in jail. I think this is what he's trying to say.
Is that true? And if a crime is reported, we're not reporting it? Isn't that what reporting a crime means?
Well, okay.
Brother, I don't understand.
And this is the Bill Hunker can clear all this up for us. And I'm sure that he will. Anyway, here we go.
All right.
So if it goes to figure, if you only have after 2011 5 deputies on the road, you're only going to make X amount of arrests. So you're going to have a statistic right there that's just ballooned in the opposite way to.
Okay, so that is what he's saying.
It's ballooned in the opposite way. Okay.
Yeah, but no, what he's saying is, what he's very clearly intimating throughout all this here is that the only crimes that count on this record of crime that is the universal crime report or uniform crime report, I'm sorry, are ones where somebody gets arrested. That seems pretty clear from what he's saying.
Well, if it was universal, I'd want to compare us with Mars.
Yes, right.
Yeah. Well, yesterday, I go to a burglary in progress where a 16-year-old girl was at home alone. Within a matter of minutes after.
Okay. How is the fact, okay, there's a 16-year-old girl home alone. I understand the point of mentioning that is that this is to put an emotional context to this. But how does this 16-year-old girl home alone, how does this change at all with more funding to the thing?
Well, Mike,
is that not going to happen?
Mike, truly, you don't understand. You see,
get there faster.
16-year-old girls that are home alone in Grants Pass City are not burglarized. Only 16-year-olds who live out in the county are ever burglarized. No, that doesn't make any sense either.
Yeah. If the levy passes and more deputies are on, your response time may improve a little bit. But it's still going to be, if somebody lives out in a very rural part of the county, it's still probably going to be 30, 40 minutes before they get there. It doesn't matter that, and they say 16 more deputies. Listen, I got to tell you something. If they pass this levy, it ain't going to be 16 deputies. That's what they're telling you. It won't be that.
Well, and the other thing that just blows this apart, sorry, old sheriff, sorry bud, but the other thing that blows this apart is they're not going to be, he's talking about patrols. There will not be any patrols according to him. According to SOS, there's not going to be. They love using the word patrols, but they don't mean patrols. Patrols are, you're in a car, you're driving around, and you're waiting. Oh, I wonder if there's going to be any crimes that are happening around me. Yeah, right, that's going to happen. Okay, so that's a patrol. Response is somebody calls in and they say, I got someone trying to break into my home. You respond. So therefore, if you're not going to have patrols, you're going to respond. And the only way you can respond is if somebody calls you. I'm 16 years old and someone's breaking into my home. Now, how does that change with passing the levy?
Yeah, I don't know that it does.
For making that situation safe, I have to scramble up to another part of the county.
After he made it safe. That's just good to know that he made it safe.
How did he make it safe?
He came and showed up. So there you go. There's that's that little thing.
So the guy's not going to wait. I'm assuming the guys might be a gang of wayward girls. So that guy's not going to come back.
Right. Well, listen, the whole point of that whole story is there was a 16-year-old girl and she was scared and feeling unsafe, and he came and made it all right.
Now, if you just raise your property taxes, she'll stop being scared and stop feeling unsafe.
Yes, she'll be much better.
In the north end, to where there's a stolen vehicle. Over the weekend, we have a situation where there's, in essence, a shootout in O'Brien.
That the OSP went to.
The night before, we have a motor vehicle crash wherein there was a DUI alleged. and a man was killed.
Okay,
And
now
how
wait,
more
wait,
police-
wait a second.
How does more sheriff make any difference in that?
Exactly. Well, because see, if we had more responders, not patrolmen, keep in mind this thing about patrols. If we had
Right.
more responders,
They
why
might have
they
picked
could
him up.
respond to, they could, well, it was an alleged DUI, but okay, they could respond. How would they respond? They couldn't respond to Simon Hare. Now, how are they going to respond to this?
Well, I guess the inference is that there's a greater likelihood that a cop would have seen this guy driving drunk and would have taken him off the road before this happened.
He's not on patrol.
Yes, but even if you had to calculate the odds to that, it would be astronomically high to 1. It would be,
well, especially as
crazy.
astronomically high since he's not on patrol. He's sitting in a concrete building, and you'd have to have X-ray vision.
Yeah, these are all, listen, these are all to pull at your heartstrings to make you feel safer somehow if you vote for the levy.
Well,
I get it.
And the other thing is, here's 4 examples in a few days. Okay,
right.
4 examples. Now, if this was
do
happening,
they not go on 4 calls in a few days? I'm guessing they do.
And if this was happening everywhere around us, everybody would know. It's like when the former sheriff said 9% of the homes have been broken into. 9%, really? I mean, we couldn't even get insurance if it was 9%. I mean, there'd be no one. People would be dead in the street if 9% of the people would be dying all the time from this, and it wouldn't be DUIs and scared girls. It would be everybody would be crazy. It wasn't 9%. He later confessed that was completely false, and that's with the sheriff that you trusted.
Yeah.
And why did he say that? He said that because he was trying to get the last levy passed. Did it work? Are things terribly different now? He said 9% of the homes were broken into then. Well, it must be 18% of them by now because we've got a crime rave that's skyrocketing, right, and people being imported on buses into the community to spread hate and discontent, according to cops.
That's right. Okay.
And talk about what the statistics mean to the public. I'm talking about what life and death means. Because in 2 of those situations,
you could ignore the statistics. Thank you. Please ignore the statistics.
3 days. I ask people, do they feel safer today than they did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago? Not to a person have I heard a yes.
He has a very small circle of friends then, because, I've talked to a lot of people, and some people, granted, your view on this is going to have a lot to do with whether or not you've been a victim of crime personally, or your neighbor has, or something like that. And then to you, your perception is going to be that crime is rampant and out of control.
Well, okay, all right. So ask me that question, Mike.
Okay, Dale, do you feel safe? Do you feel safer? Do you feel less safe than you did 2 years ago?
No, I don't feel safer, and I don't feel less safe. I feel about the same as I've been feeling, about the same. My perceptions match the statistics, and they did before I saw the statistics. And no, I feel that it's just about in the right amount of balance with the amount of money that people are spending. We're going to do our own cost benefit analysis. We don't need the heart music and the things in the back and all these. That's not necessary. We have found a stasis in our community. We are happy with the stasis. And you can ask, well, do you feel safer? No, I feel the same.
Yes.
And people say to me, Dale, you're so different. Well, I'll try to be the same from now on.
Yes. Okay. On that note,
I feel safer today.
He feels safer. See,
he just said it.
Slippery slope.
Yes.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Well, thank you for that quote. Dale and Mike revealed the sheriff feels safer now.
Yes. I'm glad he's finally coming around to our side.
Right. Okay, we'll only have time for one more video, Mike. So go ahead and play this.
You want to
play Scott Draper?
Should we play Scott Draper, or should we play? Mark Goins.
Gosh, I say Scott
I mean,
Draper because you're ready, and Scott looks like he just came out of the shower. I like that
yes,
part of his video.
yes. There we go.
The community is going to get a big bang for the buck out of Measure 1766. First off, it's appropriate emergency response and patrol. So there's that proactive patrol part, and there's the emergency response. When there's an emergency and you need somebody there, there's somebody there. It also creates larger capacity in our jail with jail beds. You know, you've got to have that portion. You've got to have that deterrent. It's got to be there, or the whole rest of the system doesn't work. And third, it reopens our Juvenile Justice Center. And that Juvenile Justice Center was the envy of people across Oregon when it first opened. That's been taken care of now. It's there. Let's take advantage of that. Let's not leave that money on the table. Let's reopen that and take care of not only the kids that have done crimes and need to be locked up, but also those kids that are on the streets that don't have the parental support before they become those kids on the other side. You know, we're going to pay for public safety one way or the other. So if we don't have a solid public safety program, we're going to pay through a lot of ways. Theft, just directly through theft. We're going to pay through increasing insurance premium costs. We're going to pay through deductibles, insurance deductibles. We're going to pay through hiring private firms to try to make up for the lack, which they actually can't do. A lot of the things they can't do that a true public safety system can. But we pay there to try to make up for that. We pay through lost opportunities, folks that aren't moving to the area because of our lack of public safety, people that are moving away because of the same reason, businesses, same thing. We pay through stagnant or even decreasing property values. That can be very, very significant. There's a lot of ways we pay. This is an article that was recently in the Daily Courier. This is about June Rice, an 80-year-old Grants Pass woman that was found dead next to her motorized wheelchair on August 15, 2012, hours after she had wandered away from an adult care facility in the Murphy area in sweltering 99-degree weather. Because of budget cuts, the article goes on to say, the sheriff's office didn't have any deputies scheduled to work until 3 p.m. that day. And the agency didn't even learn of the search until that evening. Now, the title of the story is Lost Woman Death Suit Settled. Lawyers refuse to say amount search errors cost public. So another way that financially we pay. But beyond that, how do we pay? I think we all know, how can we really pay that as a society, as a culture, as a community? We can't. We're better than this, and we need to take care of this. The people of great communities first come together and support those needs that we all share, such as public safety. And once we do that, then we celebrate our differences.
I am very moved by this music.
Yeah, well, it makes me feel like going right out and raising property taxes on everybody.
Yes. Yes.
So
Exactly.
I have a blank screen at the moment, and I don't know exactly what happened, but I'm going to assume that you can hear me and see me, and I've even got headroom and all the rest of those things. Do I?
Yes, that's right. Yes,
Cool.
I can see you.
All right. Well, I'm speaking to a blank wall, but I'm used to that. So that was Scott Draper's attempt to play harp music in the background and to explain to everybody why such things are essential and why it's always a good idea to take a shower just before you do a video.
That's right. Yes. Well, I think he was working out up there at Club Northwest, and they caught him, coming out of the showers and said, "Hey, you feel like doing this right now?" Yeah.
Yeah, that's what, and so he got his chance to explain to us why in a good progressive community, you need to keep giving government more money because they know better than you do, Mike.
Yes.
And the idea that we voted again and again and again and again and by the way, again and again, that to do this means that we are the authorities, as mentioned in the Bible, and then it's government that's rebelling against the authority of the people in America. No, that doesn't really work. All of those gospels that are supposed to explain to us what to do, they do if you only understand that we're Americans.
That's right.
So why don't you go ahead and play back? We still have plenty of time. It's not tomorrow yet. And play that back, and we'll stop it at certain points and talk, and I'll just talk to a blank screen.
Yes.
The community is going to get a big bang for the buck out of Measure 1766. First off, it's appropriate emergency response and patrol. So there's that proactive patrol part, and there's the emergency response.
Now, wait a minute.
Emergency.
Yes.
He didn't.
Now, come on, Dale.
It
Jeez.
sounded like he just said there's going to be patrols.
That there's going to be appropriate response and patrols.
Has this changed? Has something changed that I'm not aware of, that there's going to be patrols?
Well,
maybe I've been wrong all along, because I know that they said from the beginning there couldn't be any patrols, and has it honestly changed? Really? Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong.
No, they have said that there was going to be patrols out of this. They said they just didn't know how much it was going to be, and it may well be that they have hedged on that a little bit as things have gone on, but they did say that there was going to be patrols,
appropriate patrols.
I think he said appropriate response and patrol. Let's roll it back just a hair, and we'll listen to that again.
Proactive patrol part, and there's the emergency response. When there's an emergency and you need somebody there, there's somebody there. It also creates a larger capacity in our jail with jail beds. You've got to have that portion. You've got to have that deterrent. It's got to be there, or the whole rest of the system doesn't work. And
I mean, we have done a pretty good job of dispelling the idea that we don't have enough jail beds.
We have.
And so I don't know. They're capped at 90 now or something like that.
Yeah, and keep in mind, now this is coming directly from the police chief. He may regret that he ever went to Scott Draper's little party where they were talking about all the wonderful reasons why you need to raise your taxes. But the chief said, well, you remember, Mike, what did the chief say about when they got all of those jail beds, that they thought they were running the wheels off their cars, or would be? What did he say?
Yeah, he said that essentially they believed that once they had this money, they would start concentrating on a certain segment of the criminals, the more egregious offenders. They would take those guys and they would haul them to jail as fast as they could. And it was their perception over this time period that they had been taking more people to jail, but when they actually looked at the numbers, they discovered that they had actually taken less people to jail, but they had a better effect from it because they were taking some of the more prolific offenders off the street.
Okay, so when the 4-minute mile was broken, it was before my time. Sorry for those who were born in 1910. All kinds of people said it may not be possible to break the 4-minute mile. And then Roger Bannister did it. And then suddenly everybody was doing it. Now, wait a minute. It wasn't because of the shoes. It wasn't because they always had the wind at their back. It was a perception that it was not going to be possible. And then once somebody actually did it, then their perception changed. It wasn't the human beings have changed.
Right. That's a very good point, Dale. And in many cases, we are limited by what our perceptions are. I'm fine. I mean, your perception should really match what the reality is. And the only way that you can find that out is you do a little homework and find out if the stories that you're hearing are true. If the stories that you're hearing on the news are true, that, there's somebody getting murdered, raped, or robbed every 5 minutes here in Josephine County, as they would have you believe for some reason.
Well, when you look at the news at KJO, You just open up KJO's website and go look at their news. It's like 2 out of 3 stories are about crimes. And if we don't have crimes here, they're going to put crimes from New Jersey in there. Nothing but crime, 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 crime. This is not all that's happening. And it's damaging the reputation, the perception of our county elsewhere. Oh, well, they're not coming here because we've got such terrible crime. Now, wait a minute. Who's telling them that? We're not telling them that.
Yes,
Our website,
right.
as Cheryl Walker said, it's a tragedy if you go to that website. Well, it's a tragedy for her because we're pointing out when she lies and cheats, and she does, and we've caught her doing it, breaking the law. But who is it that's pumping out all this negative information? Our previous sheriff used to go on the road. He would go to other states and tell them what the terrible situation. Well, no wonder nobody wants to move here if you keep telling them that. You
no,
lunkhead.
and that's the crazy thing, is because the stats don't tell you that.
Well,
in fact, they tell you the opposite of that. And so, listen, we ought to run these people out of town on a rail here that keep talking down the community, for crying out loud. I mean, they're creating some self-fulfilling prophecy here. You know, they're going to turn this place into Detroit here. Come on.
And that rail, but if we decide to run them out of town on the rail, they're going to insist that it be a monorail that goes to Portland.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, well, they can stay there.
Yeah.
We should take the economic development funds that are left, and we should grab up the people who don't like it here, and we buy them one-way tickets to North Korea.
Yeah, yes, that would help. Economic development. People would be happier to be here because there's less of a negative veil over the community all the time.
Well, one of the things that Mike and I have talked about is the idea that maybe what we should start doing after this levy, bites the dust, bites the big one, is we should start getting up at the weekly business session and talking about the wonderful stories about the people who are doing good jobs in the county. I do that. There's not too many, but I talk about it. I do. And we also have a goodcounty.com. It's not very popular for all kinds of reasons, but we have it and started that quite a while back when we first started badcounty.com. But what we could do is we could get up and talk about the good things that are happening in the community that outside the reach, this bony hand reach of the county commissioners and their 10% skimming off the top, and talk about how we're getting things done despite the leadership that we have, not to spite, but despite the leadership that we have. And then we keep pointing out that they are the prophets of doom and gloom.
Well, okay, let's hear some more of this guy.
Third, it reopens our Juvenile Justice Center. And that Juvenile Justice Center was the envy of people across Oregon when it first opened. That's been taken care of now. It's there. Let's take advantage of that. Let's not leave that money on the table.
Hey, cut back on the music, would you? It's too loud.
Yes, it is really loud. I just think they're wanting, I guess the producer of this video has thought that, if I play this video louder, play this music louder, it will have a greater emotional effect on people.
Well, also Scott Draper saying the same things he said in the Voters Pamphlet. The same thing he said on KJO Radio, the same thing he says in practically every interview. Maybe they thought, well, people are bored with this, so let's jack up the music so it makes it sound like he's saying something more interesting.
And here, this is a good point you're making, because this was one of the videos that got ramped up with all the fake views on Facebook.
Oh, how many views is that one at?
Probably 12,000, somewhere in that department. Now, when you go to YouTube, when you go to Cuff's website and then you follow that to their YouTube page where this video is hosted, this video has 63 views on it. So it's a real big seller.
So what did they do? They took the YouTube. See, YouTube is very tough on this. They're death on the idea that you're going to try to artificially jack up the numbers, okay? Because they don't want you to do that, partly because they think you might be making some money off of this. We don't know about that, but follow the money. Okay, so what they did is, it takes a lot of effort to post these things. It takes a while for them to upload with the speeds that we have around here for the internet. And so they redid it, they repackaged it, They put it up as a non-YouTube video. Aha. Now there's no supervision. It's like the commissioners. Okay. Now that there's no supervision, suddenly in 5 days, it's got 1 million views. Oh, that's an interesting tactic. Now, you feel like voting for the levy now that you know these liars and cheaters are trying to manipulate you? Bring up the music, would you, Mike?
Not only the kids that have done crimes and need to be locked up, but also those kids that are on the streets that don't have the parental support before they become those kids on the other side. You know, we're going to pay for public safety one way or the other. So if we don't have a solid public safety program, we're going to pay through a lot of ways. Theft, just directly through theft. We're going to pay through increasing insurance premium costs. We're going to pay through deductibles, insurance deductibles. We're going to pay through hiring private firms to try to make up for the lack, which they actually can't do. A lot of the things they can't do.
Now, wait a minute, Mike. Mm-hmm. Okay, we heard this same. You've got a memory. We heard the same argument for years in a row. Years and years and years. We've heard the same argument. Have your insurance rates skyrocketed?
No, they haven't. And
are people dying on the streets? Are thieves bust in from other areas? You know who they're talking about. They're talking about black people from Oakland. Let's be honest about it. And they're reaching through your car window and pulling you out? No. So what the heck are you talking about here? Why they're dying everywhere we look? Why I actually responded to a couple of calls in 3-day period.
Well, you know what? My personal view is that if they, because there are some people in town that are affected by the ineffectiveness of policing in the downtown area, where they don't take a hard line with people that are on the street. There's a lot of people on the street. They're doing things like, you know, defecating in alleyways and you know, stealing from the 7-Eleven and things like that could be dealt with if they would deal a little, you know, stay on top of street people a little bit more. And I'm sure that the vendors in the downtown area would appreciate that. But
they have good law enforcement in the city, in Grants Pass City, and they're funding that through they're funding that. Part of the reason that that's getting funded is because the city councilors didn't even go to the voters. They're putting that bill on your utility bill.
Yes, I know. I pay some of that.
Coming to the voters. So there is a way. Don't you think the county commissioners would do that if they could? They would just impose it, and they would. But we have a charter, and we talk about the charter on Sunday nights. And because we have this charter, and because we have some rules that Cheryl Walker hasn't decided to break yet, they can't do that to us. And so, you know, if you're going to crack down on street crime, just one more thing to say about that before going back to the video, would you please crack down on street mimes? I hate those guys.
Yes, right.
We can, but we pay there to try to make up for that. We pay through lost opportunities. Folks that aren't moving to the area because of our lack of public safety.
That's a lie. That's a lie. Stop lying to us, Scott Draper.
Businesses, same thing. We pay through stagnant or even decreasing property values. That can be very, very significant.
Only because of you guys talking about it all the time.
This is an article that was recently in the Daily Courier.
There you go. The leader of the parade.
This is about June Rice, an 80-year-old Grants Pass woman that was found dead next to her motorized wheelchair on August 15, 2012, hours after she had wandered away from an adult care facility in the Murphy area in sweltering 99-degree weather. Because of budget cuts, the article goes on to say, the sheriff's office didn't have any deputies scheduled to work until 3 p.m. that day. And the agency didn't even learn of the search until that evening. Now, the title of the story is Lost Woman Death Suit Settled. Lawyers refuse to say amount search errors cost public. So another way that financially we pay.
Well, you know what? I'm just going to pause this for a second here because so it's the sheriff's responsibility to come out and find. Now, I understand why you notify them and they can come out and help participate in a search. But, you know, are we going to make the, you know, public officials responsible for stuff like this? This, you know, why didn't they get everybody in the neighborhood and say, hey, we got to go find Mildred? I mean, she's only within the range of her electric cart thing there. How is it that more cops would have helped this situation?
Well,
that they would have shown up faster, or before they found her themselves?
Bring it up. One good thing about the county commissioners breaking the law, all the stuff, and the state doing nothing, I'm getting there, just wait, is that we know we're on our own. The state's going to do nothing about Cheryl Walker blatantly breaking the law. They did nothing last year. We sent them the videotape and they said, yep, that's breaking the law, but we're not sure that we're going to enforce the law. Really, it's up to us, okay? The same thing goes with this. One of the things that we're finding now that the commissioners have less money to throw around, except Simon Harris still gets a chance to go to Washington, D.C. anytime he wants to do nothing. He comes back and says, I've accomplished nothing. Well, thanks for the honesty of that report. Well, I'm going back again. Don't. Okay. But the other thing that happens is we realize we're on our own. And when you've got a neighborhood watch and that kind of stuff, and Mildred's gone missing, why do you think that I'm going to call somebody else to solve my problem for me? No. Yes. You solve it with your neighbors, as is the American tradition. Okay, and don't need.
What did we do before you could call 911 and get everything? Why don't we call 911 and say, hey, I'd like some Little Caesars pizza, please?
Yeah, I got a barking dog. Yeah,
right. It's ridiculous. Yeah, talk to your neighbor about their barking dog, for crying out loud.
What it does is, okay, certainly you cannot solve every problem. I understand that. And so some guy's beating his wife, and we're not back in the days where you go over with a gun and you threaten the guy that's beating his wife. I understand. I guess there are some things that, well, at least they're different now. Okay. Mm-hmm. So maybe you do call the sheriff's department or whatever for that. But we're by necessity becoming more dependent, less dependent on people enforcing a law they don't want to enforce from Salem, less dependent on a police, on the sheriff's office that doesn't have the funding because we've decided not to give it to them because people are lying to us. Let me give you one more example. So I get this call from this outfit that says, "Hello, we're representing the firefighters." You're representing the firefighters of IV, the firefighters of Grants Pass, firefighters. You care about firefighters, don't you? And I said, of course I care about firefighters. Yes, well, we're looking for your donation today. And I said, well, where are you? Well, we're everywhere. No, I mean, where are you calling me from? Well, you just should care about no, I'm not asking you, when was the country founded and what did Lincoln do to free the slaves? I'm asking you, where are you calling from? Well, I'm calling from Florida. And you're collecting for us here? Well, it helps everybody. Click. Okay, look. If they come to you and they've got children, we need to help the children. We need to help the firefighters. We need to help old ladies in wheelchairs. I'm sympathetic to that. But if you lie to me, I'm not give you any money. I'm going to hang up on you.
Yes. Yes.
I want to be sure the money's going to the right place. Is that unreasonable?
No, I don't think so.
Go ahead, Mike.
But beyond that, how do we pay? I think we all know, how can we really pay that as a society, as a culture, as a community? We can't. We're better than this, and we need to take care of this. The people of great communities first come together and support those needs that we all share, such as public safety. And once we do that, then we celebrate our differences.
Well, you know what, brother?
Yes. So no partying. No partying until you take care of the first one.
The people of this great community are coming together. They've been coming together for a decade. That's right. And we've given you a very positive, community-oriented view. Get out, okay? What we're telling you is we've done that cost-benefit analysis for each family. We've decided what we want. It's very, very positive. It's a happy thing. We are on the winning team, and we've been on the winning team for a decade now. So we're not crying about, we never win. We always win. We always win. And so all I'm hoping is that people vote. Mike and I are not telling you how to vote. Well, We're giving you some advice, but we're not telling you how to vote. You'll decide.
I'm telling you how to vote.
You'll decide what you want to do. And let's give a very clear, happy community response to Scott Draper and Linda Thomas, Julie Thomas, and Pat Fahey, and Cheryl Walker. And let's get together a donation and get them those tickets to North Korea. Please, let's do that. Come on. I know we can pull together and do that.